Sarah, welcome to the Group X podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm equally excited and daunted.
Hey, I just want to tell everyone we're doing this live in my studio. This is the first time I've actually had somebody in here in the studio, and this is good. This is different. This is having a conversation with someone that's 2 foot away from me instead of
for face to face.
Yeah, this is brilliant. I love it. So let's get stuck into this, as I do with all of them. Can you tell us a little bit about you and then how you got into What's New in Fitness?
Yeah, sure. So it's been a pretty exciting year for me. I've been interested in websites for around about 9 years now. I've been interested in buying, building and selling websites, similar to bricks and mortar property. So basically treat digital assets a little bit like, bricks and mortar businesses or properties. And I had been looking for some time to find, I guess what we'd call a diamond in the rough, something that was a little bit bigger and maybe someone else had, stopped working on it, that might be a little bit neglected, that I could see as a fixer-upper. So, again, if you relate that back to property, I guess it's like trying to find a great big house in a really cool street that needed some love injected into it. So I was on the lookout for that, and then stumbled across What's New in Fitness in just a weird, uncanny sort of conversational way. And I straight away just looked at it and went, wow, I saw a lot of potential in it. I knew that previously it had a lot of love pumped into it. And since COVID had pretty much just had the brakes put on. So I approached the previous owner, Craig, and we ended up doing a handover. I purchased the website and the business from him. And the whole of this year, I've pretty much been renovating the website. I still see it as under renovation. It's not quite finished yet, but we've put new floorboards and paint in. We've done most of the rewiring, but there's a few rooms there that we haven't actually got to yet. So
I like it. There's still a carpet to go and a few of the drapes that have got to be done as well, and furniture thing.
And maybe a new bathroom. Look, and the really cool thing was too is, while I don't have a fitness industry background, I've always been very much interested in fitness. So whereas if I'd bought a business that was involved in, say, power tools, which are not my interest level, I'm really enjoying getting involved in the fitness industry because a lot of the brands and things are things I'm already familiar with. I regularly go to the gym. I've been interested in staying active and the gym and supplements and all those sorts of things. So it's pretty cool. It aligns well. Can
you tell us what is your background? What do you do?
So my main job is I've spent the last 20 years in emergency services, state government. So I had a few years in the cops and now 16 years in the fire brigade full time.
Awesome.
And then the internet stuff, my main interest there is SEO, search engine optimization. I did a diploma in digital marketing a few years back, and as I said, that's just been an area where I had hoped to transition to at some point. But firefighting's not something you do into your 60s.
Well, on that, thank you for what you do and have done for us in the emergency services side of things. That's goes without saying. I think everybody appreciates anybody that's in that area of life, so thank you for that. But I think, as you said, it's a great transition into What's New in Fitness, which is the website that you've purchased.
It's been super exciting.
This is the Group X podcast.
So for those that don't know What's New in Fitness, can you give us a top-down helicopter overview of really what is What's New in Fitness?
Yeah, sure. So What's New in Fitness was initially launched as a industry magazine. It was initially in print form and then moved to digital form and had been running as a quarterly edition since about 2012. The website was actually built to support the magazine.
Okay.
Although the way that I see it, just through my lens of websites, is I see the website as the main asset there. I would love to bring the magazine back at some point, but one step at a time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's funny you say that. I think, yes, news agencies have a whole lot of magazines. There's a whole lot of magazines and stuff out there. I think this day and age with technology, and I especially think since, that thing that happened to us all a couple of years ago that we don't like talking about too much anymore, that I can't even say the word. I think since then it's allowed us to jump online and do more things online. So really the content that's there, it's going to be on a printed form anyway, is still online for us to be able to access. I think more and more are accessing online than the printed version. So I think your thought process there, I think, is spot on. Having the digital content first, and then if you need to, you can go to the printed later on.
And so the point of What's New in Fitness initially was it was a way of connecting suppliers and decision makers within the fitness industry. And I know during our handover, Craig was very clear about it had been created for the industry by the industry.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing that I felt hesitant about moving into it, because I'm not from the industry.
Yep.
So from here on, it wasn't being created by the industry.
Yeah.
But I've just made it a really high priority to get out there and connect with people, and to get to know as many people as I can and have as much input as I can from people who've got the expertise and the experience, because I can bring that to the tech side of it.
Yeah.
But it's been like starting a new school and getting to know a whole heap of really cool new friends.
Excellent. Put it this way, the industry, I think that in our fitness industry, there are a lot of cool people, a lot of cool friends, and a lot of people that are here to support each other. So I'm pretty sure, once we move this forward, once you get What's New in Fitness moving forward and more awareness that it's still there and it's being revamped, I'm 100% certain there's going to be more and more people jumping on board.
Yeah, that's the hope. Yep.
Yeah. So what is the plan for What's New in Fitness then? I mean, you've taken over, you're revamping it. Is there new stuff, or I suppose what is the plan that you're looking to do with the website?
So we're very much trying to create content that is, valuable for our audience, which is primarily fitness professionals and gym owners. Again, in the past, it had just been used, not just been used, it had been used a lot as an amplifier news platform.
Yeah.
So the news that was getting circulated on other platforms, a lot of that was just sort of getting rinsed and repeated on What's New in Fitness.
Yep.
And a certain amount of that is great because it is just another sounding board to get word out.
Yep.
But what I would really like to do is to create some more evergreen resources for decision makers. So, it might be looking at what the options are for current CRMs in gyms, or just different marketing strategies that people might be looking for. It might be other education opportunities that are coming out there, new training courses. It could be new equipment and products, which there's some really exciting stuff coming up with the virtual fitness and that sort of things as well. Yep. So really just having that content there where people can go on there and we keep that updated and refreshed and actually get real opinions and real feedback from the people that are using it.
Yeah.
So I would like to get out there and speak to the people that are using some of these products and services, and that way a gym owner can not just see the spiel that's come from the business owner, the provider themselves, but actually, hear real testimonials and pros and cons, and just hearing success stories and failures as well, because we've all got those from people, whether it's taking on new franchise opportunities or I'd just like to get a lot more input from the actual people that are out there.
What I find really interesting is that you've come from not within the industry, so your perspective, your view on the industry isn't tarnished in any way. Yeah? And I say that in a good way, because you're coming at it, looking at it with fresh set of glasses on, and seeing things that us in the industry may not have seen for a very, very long time, or we've just seen things, this is the way it's done and this is the way we always do it. I think that from what I'm hearing from you, looking at it in different perspective and looking at it in different ways, you're going to be able to bring different things to the table that I think the industry does need. That fresh set of eyes to look at things in a different way and go, hey, as you're saying, with a product as an example, Tony's got this product X here, and I'm going to come out and say, this is the best product because of this. Having feedback or having people's experiences that have actually used it, I think is so vital for products these days, and having those testimonials, but also real life examples of what that product does for a business helps that product even more than just, hey, here's my product. It's shiny, it's new, you need it.
Yeah, and how they've used it as well. And I know we were chatting a little bit before the show as well. Everyone's hearing the AI thrown around at the moment, and ChatGPT and one-click blog posts and all this sort of thing. I do feel like the internet's about to get flooded with a lot of regurgitated content that's just the same thing rewritten. You can't fake real people. So I really want to, as I said, get input from the people that are out there doing it, what they like, what they don't like, and how they're using things. People are sometimes using products and services in a way that maybe they're not primarily marketed to be used. But I just think collaboration and that is the way to go. So and having said that, because I'm not from the industry, I'm very open to other people approaching me and saying, look, we think this would be great, and we'll create it. Number one is just useful content. There's
that's, to me, that's very valid in our industry as well. There's a lot of content out there, as you're saying, that with AI, ChatGPT, all that kind of stuff that's coming out, that it is regurgitated. It's the same stuff we've heard over and over again, and it's fluff. It's as a filler. It's exactly, that's what it is. It needs to be proper content. And while I think AI and ChatGPT are quality products and there's stuff in them, I think, as you said, having that real life feedback or that real life example, or I can't find the right word I'm trying to use here, but having that oomph of what it is from a real person instead of a computer that's generated something has got more gas behind it. A hell of a lot.
And I mean, another part of What's New in Fitness is we it used to have an extensive supplier guide attached to it. That's actually partially offline at the moment because we are currently working on that part of the house. But that supplier guide again, I think can be a really useful thing, but I would like to have a lot more input from new people in the industry, because the existing supplier guide on What's New in Fitness was a few years old. And there's been some massive changes, and even me coming in new. I mean, I attended the expo in Sydney at the end of April, and there were just so many people out there and new apps and startups that that was their first sort of foray into the public arena anyway. So I think it'd be really good to get that updated and out there. And
this is the Group X podcast.
I'd like to be. I'm interested to find out what's your intake, your input on what you saw at the fitness show in Sydney. I mean, from not coming from the industry, how did you feel the show was? Did you get quality out of it? Did you think, it's all based so much on consumer and not so much on commercial? What was your feels about that?
So I really enjoyed the trade show side of it. I guess coming in as an outsider, there were certain things that I really sort of scratched my head and went, but what's your point of difference? Where I felt like it was the same thing that's been around for decades, because as I said, I was a gym user. And I guess I just kind of went, are we still doing that? But then there were other things that blew my mind, and I was really impressed with some other things where I've just gone, wow, someone's really thought about this. And the expo side, the public side over there, a lot of it I thought, again, it was just the same thing over and over again. How many different protein powders do we need? But then there was, if we just talk supplements, there were some other really cool things I saw in there too. That just people that are just doing it better and differently, and not saying you always have to reinvent the wheel, but I think some things are saturated.
Look, the supplement side of thing I'll touch on very briefly, I think it's needed. There needs to have the variety that is there, and each brand has its own unique point of what they're offering in their proteins and all that kind of stuff. I do believe that it's, there's probably as many protein shops out there than there are gyms at the moment, and there's a hell of a lot of them. But they all cater to the market and do stuff in the market. So that, to me, they are they're valid for the industry. I think it's at the show, it's magnified. You walk into the fitness
it's
show
just
and there's
condensed.
protein alley. You walk straight down and my goodness, it's left and right, left and right, left and right, and the fake tans are fake cans, and the proteins are actually out in force. So it's but there's a space for it. I like though that you saw something valid on the trade show. The products that were on display for gym owners, managers, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, look, I think there should be more emphasis focusing on the NDIS and the people that need fitness, not because they want to look great.
Thank you.
Because and I did see glimpses of that people are catering to those parts of society. So I see fitness as so much more than having a good rig. Particularly with my background with emergency services, I'm very acutely aware of mental fitness. And I would like to put a lot more emphasis on that because I think it is equally, if not more important than physical health. I think the two are so intertwined. Just there's so many people that need fitness, not because they need to be stronger, faster, better, but maybe it's just so that they can balance and not have to go into care and be able to stay in their own home for longer.
That's so refreshing to hear. And again, from a different perspective, someone that hasn't been in the industry for 20, 30 years, your view and your look at what's happening in the industry, yes, you can see clearly, like all of us can, that the Insta person, the Insta fit or, hashtag fit chick or hashtag fit guy or whatever it may be, isn't all the industry is made up to be. There is a hell of a lot more to our industry. And I think over the last 10 to 15 years, I think what was fitness has changed. It's Fitspo. It's the roots of fitness have really gone, and it's how good do I look? I've got to be taking all these selfies and putting all this stuff on, where if you get rid of all that stuff and you look down at the grassroots on what fitness is, as you're saying, the NDIS, the people with mental health, that kind of stuff, there's still health and fitness in the industry that hasn't been looked at. Yeah,
and from my perspective, talking to someone who is a fitness professional, let's say they're a personal trainer, I think I read stats a while ago that something like 16% of Aussies are regular gym users. 16%, so it's not many. So there's a huge untapped audience out there.
Yeah.
And I think it was 50% of those 16% were 18 to 25-year-olds. So, when you look at the number of people out there who may be going to the gym, maybe they want to lose a bit of weight or buff up their arms a little bit. But a lot of the time it's not about that. It's not about fitting into the dress. It's for mental health or rehab or whatever else it is. But I just think in a day where it's becoming very easy to look online and download a workout, it's very easy to look online and download a meal plan. What are you offering? And so if you're just going to stand over someone and write them a program where they're going to do shoulder press and squats and bicep curls and you're going to count them in, I think there's so much opportunity there for you to add value by niching down in what you offer. So whether that's, working with NDIS patients or clients, not patients, whether you're working with people that are over the age of 60, whether you're working with people postpartum, whatever that group is, or teenagers, but I think if you can narrow your focus and then specialise in what you offer and really cater to that audience, I think there's massive opportunity there. But increasingly with all the online stuff and the AI offerings, I think fitness professionals have got to really think about what they offer. Because bog standard's not going to cut it anymore.
And I think that's the reset that we're forced to have at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. If gyms are doing the same as what they were doing before, we're seeing that they're not successful. They need to really look at what their offering is and how they're tapping into the market. And yes, there is still that market that is catering for the 18 to 25-year-olds, it's still a big part of the market. It's still there. But it's what happens to those that are after 25? 25 up to 60s or 70s or 80s, if they're that they last that long, it's what is the industry doing for the aging population and those that you're saying that are suffering from mental health or disability in some way. I think the industry lost its way because we've lost. There are some. This is not saying that there's no one out there sorting it, doing it, catering for that end of the market, but it seems to be that it's a lot less these days.
So, and if anything, it's going to push those people further away. So you may have been part of that 18 to 25 crowd. you've had kids, you haven't been to the gym for 15 years,
Yep.
You're a little heavier, you're a little slower, you're apprehensive.
Yeah.
And if you're not seeing people like you out there in the fitness world, then I think it's even harder to step into it. So, yeah.
I look at it though as I think, the new, I call them fads. I'm not going to name any brands or anything when I say this, but there's new training places coming out to cater for the 18 to 25-year-olds. But as they're getting older, those workouts aren't being catered or changed to tailor for the population that are getting older. So does that mean that at the age of 25 they stop going? Where do they go then? And that's I think it's one thing that I've seen over the last 20 years of being in the industry that 20 years ago, yes, I was a lot younger than what I am now. I was 20 years younger. And things I was doing then are different to the things I'm doing now. Yeah. But there's still programs out there that are exactly the same that were catering for me then that are still trying to cater for me now. And it's like, hang on a second, I can still do some of them because I've been training that way for 20 years. But what about someone that's just coming into the industry? Someone that's coming into, shit, you know what? I haven't trained for the last 20 years. I need to. What are they going to be able to do? They can't do what we were doing 20 years ago. There needs to be something that caters for them.
Yeah.
And the market now.
I think a lot of those people have been drawn to the home gym style because, there's some really cool home gym equipment out there now. I've been very tempted to get some cool setups at home, but the fact is I still go to the gym, so it'll be a waste of money. Yeah. But, if you do prefer training at home or you need to train at home, there's some unreal products out there these days. But, again, they're the people that may be just too intimidated to go to the gym, and that's why they're training at home. So if you can offer them something that gets them out, face-to-face, I think partly that's how fitness professionals can I want to use the right word, but basically maintain their validity when they're fighting against all these online programs where you've got a virtual trainer on your 65-inch screen. There's you've got to have a point of difference. So,
it's you're right with that. I think that topic that we don't talk about. Well, I don't talk about, but we all went to doing stuff at home. We all went to doing stuff online or out and about. And I think there is still a certain percentage of the population that aren't confident in going back into a gym. Don't want to because they've learned how to do it at home and can do it at home and can feel confident at home. But there's also, I think, that niche market in between that. As an example, Tony can't get to the gym. Here I am talking third person again. Gotta love it when I do that. Tony can't get to the gym on Monday night because he's got to stay at home and look after Leah. Cool. I still want to have an offering that I can do. So I think gyms need to look at some way that they can offer that class in an online platform so I can still be part of what's going on and not lose me to another brand or another product that's out there. If it's still my gym and I'm paying access to go to my gym, I still want to have that content available to me, whether they're streaming it from the classroom or however it may be. I think there's still something there that we need to look at as an industry because I'm still paying something. I want to be able to go, but just because Rach can't be around, Tony's got to be home to look after Leah. Yeah. I want to do something. Yeah. So I think there's something in that as well.
This is the Group X podcast.
So with it, I just want to touch back on with content you have on the website at the moment that's been there since inception. Is that content staying? Are you revamping that content? What's the go with that? Is there a library always going to be there? What are your thoughts with what you're doing with all of that content?
So I'm coming at it very much from an SEO point of view.
Yep.
And so because the website had been neglected for a few years, I've basically got to send signals to Google initially to let them know, hey, we've restarted the engine. Yep. We're breathing life back into it, sort of thing. So I have been, and I still am, going through all of the old content. And that was actually almost 3,000 articles.
Wow.
Not including other pages and videos and all whatever else that was in there.
Yeah.
Basically, some of that content is absolutely out of date, and there really is no point in it still being there.
Yeah.
There's some articles and content on there that is out of date, but absolutely could be refreshed.
Yep.
And so they're on a different list.
Yep.
And there's some stuff there that's absolutely relevant and just needs a little touch up, go through and sort of freshen it up. So It is a very in-depth audit of the content, and all the previous magazines they're all actually saved on a separate platform that's accessible through What's New in Fitness.
Okay, cool.
Through DoMag, so they're all still online and they'll stay there forever. Really, they're sort of archived.
Yep.
But as far as the actual just content that was on the website, it's been a big big process of. Imagine, I guess you've lived in a house for 20 years and you accumulate a lot of stuff in every drawer, and I'm going through every drawer.
Well, as you said, the bathroom's next.
Yeah. So
you've got to take everything out, and that means a whole lot of dust and a whole lot of what have you that's still in those drawers in the bathroom that we push to the back and never look at again. Yeah. But
like I said, I mean, in a geeky way, it's been really fun.
Yeah.
I guess some people enjoy tinkering with cars. This is my version of that.
Yeah.
Classic car.
Yeah. Look, as I said before, I think it's nice because you're coming to it with a different set of eyes, a total different perspective, and I think having something and seeing something that was so relevant for our industry, to see it sort of peter off through whatever reason it was, to see it coming back and being reborn again is exciting. There's content there. It's how we learn. It's how we see stuff. And yes, there are other platforms out there, but it's nice to see something that's Aussie based.
And that was the big appeal for me too, was that there was some familiarity with the brand.
Yeah.
There was plenty of signals there that I could look up and see that this branding had been known in the industry in the past.
Yeah.
So that was very cool to sort of be handed something and take care of it and bring it back, kind of thing. Yeah. It's been excellent.
Cool.
So watch this space. We've got lots of plans.
Awesome. How can people get in touch with you? And I suppose let's refresh them with what's the web address as well?
Yeah, sure. So the web address is what'snewinfitness.com.au.
Yep.
You can email me, Sarah at what'snewinfitness.com.au, or just drop me a line on the contact form on the website.
Cool.
So if you've got any questions, if anyone's got a product or service that they're trying to get out there, be interested in having a chat, by all means, we're always looking for new content.
Yeah.
And just reach out.
Cool, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Get onto the website, guys, and subscribe to make sure you're up to date with everything that's coming out. Do you do a newsletter as well? Is your newsletter still happening?
Yeah, we're running a monthly newsletter.
Cool.
Again, previously it was a weekly news feed, a monthly newsletter, and a quarterly mag. We've just trimmed it right down while I feel like we're still in this overhaul phase.
Yep.
So monthly newsletter and go from there.
Brilliant, guys. You'll be able to find details on the groupx.com.au website as well, but please, guys, head on over to www.what'snewinfitness.com.au, or WNIF is what I found this morning as well. It's still there, so you can go through both ways. But Sarah, thank you so much for coming into the studio for a chat. I've greatly appreciated it. Thank you.
It's been very exciting. Great way to start the week.
It is.
Yeah. Thanks, Tone.